Alright guys, this is part 2. It's a follow-up to the video that I posted yesterday, and if you haven't watched that video, I suggest you scroll down and check it out. The basic premise of the video was this. I was struggling with some fill playing. I had experienced some hesitation, and it started really to affect my finesse and my meter and my groove. And I started to think about, why was that happening? And I think the reason why I was hesitating was my mind and my hands were not in synchronicity. And, we spend a lot of times talking about how you need to strengthen your chops and warm-up exercises and things like that to keep your hands and your chops going, but we really don't talk about your mind. And if you think about it, this is the engine that makes the whole rest of this work. And if you don't keep your mind sharp in terms of drumming, it really doesn't matter how sharp you keep your limbs. So I started to think about the foundation or the building blocks of drumming and rudiments, and the idea that rudiments really serve two purposes. They teach you a sticking technique or the motion of a process or a pattern, but they also teach you a thought process. And the idea behind a rudiment is that when you originally sit down to learn a rudiment, you count it out in your mind, but eventually your body becomes so comfortable with executing that pattern that it really should be on autopilot. So my theory was, to really challenge myself, I needed to come up with a new rudiment. So I started to look to where I could find this, and I was listening to different kinds of music, and the theme from Mission Impossible leapt out at me and provided me with this great sort of percussive pattern in its theme song. And we all are familiar with that song. It goes dun 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 dun, right? It's a great groove if you think about it, because the song itself is made up of these accents. So I decided, okay, how was I going to come up with a simple sticking pattern that was a little bit complex, that would require me to think about range of motion, sticking, and also make my mind sharp because I had to think about it. So I came up with this idea about doing a double with a single, mimicking that kind of music. So you ended up with... I'm playing with hot rods today too because I don't want it to be too loud on the camera. So then I thought, how do I evolve that? How do I take that rudiment once I get it down? Because eventually you get to this. How do I apply that? What kind of variations can I do? So then I thought about, hey, it's got a great triplet feel to it. So why don't I take away the double, switch it over to a single, and have each hand share the accent responsibilities? And you get this. Right? Very similar to... Then I thought, okay, why don't I put sort of like a drag roll into it to give it a little bit more oomph? And you end up with this. Awesome. Now what do? How do we apply that to the drum set? How do we take that original pattern dun 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 dun. Right? Or you could even simplify that even further into a more practical groove.